Well, let's roll, man.
Let's roll. I'm ready for it.
You got your scotch?
You know I got the scotch.
You're scotched up? I've got very, very full.
Yes, sir.
Miller Lite. Texas finest Miller Lite.
Yo, right there. You'd be spilling that all down your shirt.
No, well, we're going to be careful.
Oh, my word. Welcome back to the Okayest Cook Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Whonsetler, coming at you remotely with Andy Heiser for a very special episode.
It is.
This is episode number 50, and we are turning one. How about that?
We're a 1-year-old.
We're a 1-year-old, yeah. We're still crapping in our diapers, having a good old time.
It's been, time flies and you're having fun. It's been
Heck yeah, dude. It's been
one full year. And going through some of the Instagram feeds and oh yeah, I remember that episode. There's episodes I've already forgotten about, but not forgotten about. I see them oh yeah, that's a good one.
You tend to tuck them back in the memory banks.
Yeah, I know. We've just done a lot, man. We've talked to a lot of cool people, done a lot of cool things.
Dude, we've had so many cool people on. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Callbacks are numerous. I'm sure this episode will be riddled with it. And
yes.
those of you who maybe not watched a lot of these, this is probably a good one to find some of the other really good ones in the 50s.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I think we're gonna reminisce about the past experiences, past guests, maybe talk about some of our favorite episodes, and just relive the glory days. Of the past?
The glory days of
365 days. Yeah, but before we dive into that, have you had any cool meals lately?
Yeah. I mean, I have actually. I've actually this background again. If you guys have watched me on here, you've seen a rotating things of backgrounds with me.
And he's become the vagabond.
Yeah, I know I'm all over the place right now, but I'm actually in Texas at an Airbnb. It's a really cool house. It's actually on Lake Bridgeport, down here in Bridgeport, Texas. But I'm here visiting some friends and test running some time down here, seeing how I like being down here, maybe full time type of deal. So we'll see. But my notable meal is actually sponsored by a 4-year-old, or brought to me by a 4-year-old. My buddy's youngest son, Nash. Came running up to me immediately when he saw me when I got here, and was like, "Hey, can we go to Dewini's?" Is what he calls it, an Italian restaurant in Bridgeport called Dewini's.
Yes.
He calls Dewini's. And again, commensalities is one of our pillars here, and it was just one of those things where I was like, how do I tell this kid no? Obviously, we're going. So yes, it was a great meal. It was a great place. Again, shout out to Davini's in Bridgeport. That's a great little Italian spot. But I did have a kind of a cool pizza there, very Texas pizza. They call it the Davini, and it is it's got shredded brisket. It's a pizza, right? So It's got shredded brisket. It has for the sauce, it's like a jalapeno ranch sauce, and then mozzarella cheese on it as well, and it is dynamite. Just like the smoked brisket, the jalapeno ranch, and the cheese. It was just, the bread, their crust is amazing there. So it was actually a really good pizza. Though it was not very Italian, very much very much Texas, but
yeah, dude.
But again, it was one of the things where I couldn't tell Nash no, so it's one of those things.
Seriously,
probably more special just because Nash wanted to be there. But
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, commensality is the heart and soul of what we do, and eating a cool meal or eating an average meal with somebody you love is way more important than a solid meal by yourself.
For sure.
So
for sure, 100%. So
that rocks.
That was mine. How about you?
I love that. Yeah. Dude, today I just whipped up some pretty basic venison nachos. So just, starting out the week strong. It's actually St. Patrick's Day today. And I had zero outside of the scotch for the 1 year celebration here. We busted out some 15-year, what do I have here? Glenfiddich. Yeah. Forgot the names. Rocking out the Glenfiddich and just having a good time. St. Patty's. I swear my socks are green.
Yeah.
You can't see them though. But I did get a pinch from my 5-year-old today for not wearing a proper green shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, rocked out the venison nachos, and like I said, I just pretty basic recipe, but I browned the meat properly.
Good.
You know, per episode. What was that? Episode 3. You're browning meat wrong. So I'm learning. I'm retaining some knowledge. And outside of that, just chips, cheese. I did a quick batch of pickled onions in my Anova chamber vac. So definitely not as good as like a traditional overnight soak, but in a pinch, it gets the job done.
Nice.
You know me, the king of the lack of planning.
Preparation.
Deciding I wanted these nachos last second,
but you didn't have pickled onions. You're like, I'm gonna make them.
I'm gonna make them real quick. Alex said that chamber vac does a great job. In a pinch, it's better than no pickled onions. So.
Yeah, get enough vinegar and onion in there. It's pickled enough.
Yeah. It got the job done. You know, I added that flavor. You know, like Chef Allen said, you know, you need that acidity. So.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's great. No, venison, nachos in general, I think it's like one of my. It's a good go-to, especially just like get the cookie sheet out, put the parchment down, just make a mess, put it in the oven.
Heck yeah,
and enjoy.
It's one of those recipes that always changes. Like there is no measuring. You just chuck what you got on there and
make it look good.
It always works.
It looks good to the eye. It's going to taste good in the tummy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right on.
Well, how are you feeling about this this episode? How do you want to start this trip?
I will say, I think, I mean, I love the idea. Kind of made I was looking back at what are some of my favorite episodes. Of this, and man, it's hard for me because some of the early days are so fond memories of us getting together at your house around the kitchen table, and it Steph's upstairs, the boys are down, and we're trying to be quiet / do this podcast with our radio voices. Episodes 1 through 5 are very radio-esque. We found our full voices at this point, I think. Yes. But I mean, getting all 4 of us together was always awesome, and this group of 4 has had a big year. Not only is that we did this,
no joke,
but I've had a transition in life. Colton started a business, quit his job, started his own company, and he's just been killing it and has just been super busy. And Corey hung up a lot of the entrepreneurial stuff. But has gotten himself a good corporate gig. It's allowing him to have a lot more time with his family, which has been super important to him, coaching his girls' teams and stuff. And that part's really cool. And then Chris is busy. Chris, the other thing when people forget, Chris always looks really good in these, and all of our stuff looks really good because Chris is really good at what he does. So I say that not only as his friend, but also I hire Chris for all sorts of jobs for my clients. So the company, it's just. We've had a real aggressive season of life, so it's pretty cool
to put it lightly. Yeah,
do this as well. Yeah, so
it's been incredible. Yeah, just a lot of moving pieces and a lot of major life changes. So but it's been cool to hang out with you guys through all of that and just witness the camaraderie has been strong. Yeah.
Well, that and then I feel like the other thing too is that we've wanted to meet some really cool people and. We've successfully
mission accomplished.
We've had some really cool people. I mean, there's some we've had some people on this podcast. I mean, your podcast with Eric and the team at the bakery. I'm spacing the name.
Yeah, Amelia's.
Yeah. I mean, which if you're in Indy, it's the bakery. It's the one you want to go check out. And then our work with Alan over at Bluebeard, and Bluebeard's another restaurant everyone in Indy knows that restaurant because it's just, and we've got to talk to those guys. And then even outside of locally, we've had some really cool, well-known folks on that. I mean, we still haven't had Hank on, but I'll fanboy out when we do. But I'm sure my hope is one day we can make that happen. But
he's on the hit list.
It's really
for sure.
cool to again, we are the Okayest Cook. That's what we're here to be, but we're just trying this out, and we've reached out to people. You've done a lot of the work of actually reaching out to these folks, and it's been so cool to not only interview people who are just so good at what they do, and then be able to bring that content. I don't want to say down because that sounds like it's bad, but bring that content to the level of someone that is just getting started for them to understand how to do that.
We're making it digestible.
We're not pros at this.
Absolutely
not. So I feel like that's something I'm super proud of. It's just we've been able to bring some really cool content to people that I don't think they would listen or try any of these things if it wasn't for some of that. So at least that's the feedback that I get from people when I hear about it in the wild. So. But yeah, I mean, how about you? I mean, I think that's kind of something I'm most proud of right now is just the breadth of what's happened in these 50 episodes, especially given that like there's not a playbook for this team. Like there's not like a way you do this. This isn't a CPA position, Colton. But this is like it's a lot of this stuff is kind of like formulated by just trying hard.
Trial and error, dude. Yeah, you find a cool person online. You say, hey, do you want to chat? I'm like, sweet, let's go chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I've had a lot of awesome feedback from just the brand in general. Yeah. So just super honored to be a part of the Okayest network. Eric put together like a smash and team a podcast here, and just the fact that he threw us a bone, like he didn't know who we were. He didn't know what we were capable of. Like he didn't ask for a demo or a pilot episode. He's just like, go for it. Yeah, I trust you.
Like I love our whole Okayest network. Like brother and sister are all great. But I feel like we've got our stuff's been very polished. And again, I'm not here just to like blow up Chris's head here, but like, man, like the reason our stuff looks, sounds, and acts so good is because Chris puts in the work to make it happen. And has a lot of the equipment, obviously a lot for what he does, and we piggyback off of that. But still, I mean, I feel like it doesn't feel low. It's not like two guys just winging it. It feels really polished. And if you only knew some of the chaos behind the scenes,
there's been some chaos.
It's out there a little bit sometimes, but the end results are really cool, and it feels like the content we're putting out it's real. We continue to rely on the fact that we're not professionals at this, and we're all learning to get a little bit better. And, we're not trying to be Okayest forever, but you stack these these little gains on top of each other over time. And, I feel like my cooking level today is just way better than it was a year ago.
It's different.
It's just different. Yeah. In a lot of ways. Yep. We could probably talk about that a little bit, but
hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
We're definitely trying to keep it authentic, and real and honest. And like I said, just being a part of the Okayest network, it fits that. I don't see our name changing anytime soon. Like, I'm improving in the kitchen.
We're improving, but we're still okay.
Probably not that much. But yeah, it's been great. And again, just a lot of positive feedback of just the brand in general.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit about, the way it looks. There's not too many people who watch the podcast, but I appreciate all the feedback there. And I'll send you that Venmo later for the comments. But just the Okayest in general, like I think people appreciate that we are being authentic. Like we're not trying to, come at you from this high plateau that we're obviously not, but also just, like keeping it authentic and real and down to earth, and, just not using the term Okayest as a crutch or an excuse to not being good. Like I said, it's just reality. And we're okay. We're okay with being okay, but we're striving to learn. We're striving to get better. And I feel like we're fitting a niche in the market that just hasn't really been hit that hard. Ever. Like, because everyone's always coming at you like, hey, I'm the best of the best, and here's why I'm so good.
Well, and we've talked about that when we started this whole thing about like, I mean, there's this like room, I think, and I've got an idea for a podcast that I've never started and actually done but listening to people who are kind of at your peer level figure this kind of stuff out, I think humanizes the whole process. Because when you talk to a professional chef, it can be kind of daunting to be like, how do you want to talk about cooking with somebody who like that's what they do?
Yeah.
And it's like, and you're a photographer, so I'm sure like when people talk to you about what you do for a living, it's like, oh, I love taking pictures, and they like try to relate to it. And it's sometimes like, well, and you do your best to like, it's cool,
It's pretty.
You'll find out I'm in marketing, and especially digital advertisement. They want to talk to me about like, is there some sort of like, is my phone really listening to me? Yes, it is. It is listening to you. Like, whatever, but like they try to like dabble into it, but it's just really cool when we're like, I feel like the listener and us are kind of at that, we're all at the same peer level of things. And then we're getting a chance to talk to them, to some of these really like some of these professionals that we've got to interview. And I feel like we can kind of ask the stupid questions for everybody and learn from those folks and take some of those best assets that these guys have worked really hard to create. And we've had some dope people to just like reminisce on some of the episodes. Like our pizza episode. It was a contact that Chris knew through a work engagement, and their family just got really into making pizza. And
just real average people.
A super fun episode of some really good people who got into making pizza and got good at it
it was so good.
Like it was it
was so good.
There's no taste vision through these podcasts, but like that food, like that pizza episode was phenomenal. And we were just at someone's house, just like your house, just like everyone else's houses. And so it can be done. And like that was a great one, especially on just like try new things, things.
Dude, I've been using Scott's pizza recipe like so much ever since then.
So good.
Yes.
But man,
what are some other top episodes in the back of your mind here? Like, what are you most proud of?
The one I feel like, again, early on, like we were pretty polished and like trying to like pull some knowledge on some of the things early on, especially like, if you haven't heard the top episodes. I still think our gear episode holds up. I still think our steak episode holds up. But the one
the steak episode was officially the most streamed.
Okay.
Yeah, so your analytical brain, you probably know all this looking at the stats. Streaming versus downloads from Megaphone. Streaming is, I think, specific to Spotify. Downloads are more so like for all the other apps. The most streamed episode was cooking steak.
No, I believe it. But like my favorite though, not favorite, like one of the ones I'm reminiscing on hard right now though was after our bird hunt, and you and me eating your B&G, but with a twist. At the back,
goose leg, biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, like it was an outdoor setup. We got a camera. We got planes going overhead. It was just us and our, like literally
geese
in our
flying over.
We were making eating a meal that you prepared in advance, but we were able to heat it up and we ate it out of the back of the truck bed. You know what I mean? It was biscuits and gravy, and it was delicious.
After a really cool hunt with some really cool dudes. So.
Yeah, like it was what a time, and what a great example of like, again, just because you're eating out of the back of a truck, it doesn't have to be a bologna sandwich. You can make some really cool stuff.
Yes, sir.
So I was probably those ones are the ones I reminisce on hard. The gear, the steak, the coffee episode was also kind of fun. I think we changed some things there. I really enjoyed our interview with Caitlin Green.
Yeah,
talked about that, and if you haven't gotten listened to that one, that's a really good one on what the food that you're eating is doing for you from a fuel standpoint.
Yes.
So those are kind of like my go-to callbacks on ones. If I were to say, hey, go listen to this podcast, I would say, gear, steak, how food works with Caitlin, and then, maybe listen to Chris.
Are you actually like looking at the analytics right now?
No, I'm not.
Because
I'm just off my head.
Well, I've got them right in front of me. At least the top stats I pulled, and the Caitlin Green episode is our number one YouTube view, but like triples.
Yeah,
like the second tier. Like she has so many watches on that, because she just knows what she's talking about. Like she's such an expert in that field, and breaks it down in like such a easy way. Like I know nothing about that industry, and like it made sense to me. So just listening to her was just fascinating.
Well, the cool thing about those, especially if you're in a situation where weight loss is something that's important to you, and food is something you've had a hard time trying to figure out. That's why nutritionists exist. That's why she does what she does. That's why she's good at what she does. Is she knows the science behind it really well, but she has the ability to communicate it down to the individual, to personalize it to what they need. But
that quote from her episode, "Eat real food." Mm-hmm. We're gonna have some merch eventually, and that's gonna be one of them. So stickers, shirts. I don't know. We'll see.
It's like
it's coming.
Like I said, I'm traveling right now on Airbnb, and I feel like the last couple of days I feel a lot better. But I went to the store and bought the things that I'm eating, and I don't have my kitchen full of junk, And so like today, like literally, like when I got a little hungry, I bought a thing of bananas, I bought a thing of cuties, oranges, and
there you go.
You pop some of those down, and you just if you eat real food, I mean, you can kind of eat a little bit more of it too. And even I've had a salad tonight for dinner. I had some salad and some chicken tonight, and it was, it was good. But I feel a lot better.
Yes.
And a lot of that has to do with, just trying to like, carve out all the junk that's there, But
I'm sure the vitamin D in Texas is helping a little bit too.
Yeah,
so.
probably the hour of falling asleep by the pool today also probably helped with my attitude.
Yeah, those pool naps in Texas. Shoot, man.
Yeah. But how about you? I mean, I just kind of probably rattled off all the top hits there, but
you took them all. No, honestly, for me, I think instant top of mind episodes that were my favorite were probably the most vulnerable. And I don't know why my head's going that route, but there's two episodes in particular. Episode 44, I sat down with my wife and we just talked through, I almost said all of our kitchen accidents. It was like 75% mine, where I'm chopping off fingers and cutting myself, and she spilled some oil on the dog. Like that was her big one. But the kitchen accidents, and then episode 29, just hanging out in your living room talking about hog stuff, where I admitted to setting a hog on fire. So again, I don't know why those are the top two that come to mind, but I think just being vulnerable, it's something that not a lot of people talk about, or like you don't want to admit your screw ups, and for some reason I just feel okay doing that. Sharing it publicly here on the podcast, like just I guess it brings me a little joy. And
those are a good podcast. And again, if you haven't listened to those, go back to those. I can't remember the what happened around that, but when you were going to sit down with Steph, I was like, yes, I can't wait to listen to that. But I mean, I know you guys, and it was cool to hear that happen, and bring in some, like, again, everybody who's listening to this probably has a significant other, a wife, girlfriend, what have you, that or husband, whatever, that you also cook with or cook before, or and then they have a lot of they share those experiences, and probably slightly different than yours. But also good
trying to bandage you up while you're sitting on the toilet, trying not to pass out.
Right. Yeah.
From losing a fingertip.
But yeah, I mean, in that episode too, at my house, like that was a fun one. Because I just got back from another Texas trip.
Yeah.
That one was really special for me because I was at that party. And so I got to experience that food that he was like beating himself up over. That, like,
dude,
I mean,
it was a disaster.
Like, literally, there was 30 people plus that he ended up cooking for. The food was delicious. I mean, it was great. Nobody had any idea that Chris was, had set the hog on fire in a lot of ways. I mean, he still had a really great presentation. Did a bunch of other really good food there too, mind you, while he was there. Not just the hog, but also chicken, because some of his friends can't eat pork.
It's true. Got a couple of those.
So
grab some of those county corner chickens for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those were so good.
We'll have to link that below. I think they've got a few more to sell here. Yeah. If you're an Indiana local, just top quality chickens. I already placed my order.
That's good. Do it.
Shameless plug there.
I got mine. I had some. It's so crazy how much some of that matters too. Like, this is like, again,
dude,
we could like move into some like key, like some key points. But one of the ones that like I think is just huge that I've learned from this podcast is just that, like, ingredients matter, and that matters
so much.
Like, whether you're talking about, like, not just when you say ingredients, I'm not talking about like, yes, your spices do matter as well. But I'm talking about like the ingredients. So I got some chicken breast the other day. This is probably a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, from Goose the Market. So
yes,
again, we've had some really cool experiences with them. And the chicken was from like a local Amish farm or something. I don't know. It was really expensive, but it was. But man, I mean, like, chicken's chicken, right? Everyone like says that. But this,
I don't think that's true.
It's so much better than that. And chicken's chicken because you've never had good chicken. You've never had real.
There you go.
Not sat through, not sitting on its ass the entire its life before it's slaughtered, like just to get fat. Like if you've had real actual chicken, it is just it's a game changer, and it's one of those that, like, I mean, it's, in my opinion, worth it, especially if you can afford it. To try to to up your game a little bit on your ingredients. Not only just your spices do matter, and if you've got stale stuff, like, I get it, like, they're not cheap, but don't sleep on going to your butcher as opposed to going to Walmart. Like, don't
Yes.
buy like, if I could sell one thing, like, don't stop buying your meat at big box stores. Go get it from a butcher.
Yes.
Because even if the butcher's getting it from the same, I promise you, they're getting it sooner, and it's not sitting in there nearly as long.
Yeah. When you say it's more expensive, but I might challenge you on that, because like if you buy some chicken breast at the store versus like a whole chicken, and you actually use the whole chicken, cut off all the bits of meat, make stock out of the bones, it's like you get so much out of this whole chicken.
Right. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That's but that's, I think, probably one of my bigger takeaways is just having a little bit more respect for the ingredients that go in it, because one of the other big tips I feel like I've gained from this last year is just people try to overcomplicate what goes into things, and like the keep it simple, stupid, just that adage works for cooking. And it's magnifying though if you actually have good ingredients going in. So
was that Chef Allen that talked about just simplicity?
Yeah, simplicity. Like, there's a reason why salt and pepper work really well. There's a reason why adding a little salt, pepper, garlic, and some really good oregano will set almost anything up for success.
Just start with quality ingredients and don't screw it up.
I mean, those were one of those things where, like, that doesn't have to be overly complicated, but those are like some of my big, I think, takeaways is don't sleep on your ingredients. If you're trying to, like, I mean, if you're throwing a chili together, you can probably get away with some things, but at the same time, if you're trying to prepare a nice meal, like, again, just, going that little bit extra there on getting your meat from someone that, hasn't traded hands 7 times, wasn't slaughtered 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Or buying vegetables that were picked a year ago.
Oh, that I don't remember what episode that was, but that was with
Gunnar Emberg.
Yeah, Gunnar. Yeah, that's right.
Talking about just like, these vegetables you're eating, they were probably a lot older than you think they are.
Like, I had no idea until Gunnar
no clue
that, like, those had, and then go research it. It's terrifying. How long ago some of your potatoes, like some of the things that and then also, I think I said this in that episode too, but like and it's really tempting, and I get this, like when you're like, I want to eat well, but I'm hungry now, and I go into the grocery store and they've got that prepped fruit that's right there, and I watched this whole thing on how that fruit is the bad fruit it's the fruit that's going bad that they pull out. And they like wash real well, and then sometimes even go as far as to like scrub and remove things.
Oh yeah,
cut it up, and they put it in that prepped thing, and then they charge you 3 times as much for that.
Got to make up for those man hours.
Oh man, and I can't unsee it now when I see that fruit there. I'm like, nope, just gonna hard pass. I'll go buy that because, like, I don't know how old that is and what was on it.
We've said this in many episodes, but the cost of convenience is a lot higher than you actually think it is. Yeah. And it's not just money. Like, you're paying for it everywhere. Yes.
No, and look, like, I time is money, and I get like I'm as a business consultant, I talk to clients all the time about, like, they're like stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. Like, it happens a lot. But that's one thing that, like, when it comes to your food, I promise you, like, it's not that hard to wash your fruit and put it in a bowl.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, that prepped fruit versus a bag of Oreos, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Get the fruit. We're not trying to poo-poo fruit here.
No, you're spot on. And the carrots and all that. Get that for sure. Like, yes. Yeah, definitely. But if you are going to the store to meal prep for the week,
there you go. Yeah.
Go to the produce section and buy the actual stuff.
Do as I say, not as I do. Plan ahead. Make a menu.
Have it all together.
Do it the good way, not the easy way.
Yeah.
It'll work. So,
yeah, man.
Well, I mean, on the topic of preparing food, you've already kind of alluded to this, but how would you say your cooking has changed over the course of this past year?
I would say I've got like 2 big takeaways. One, I think, I I just feel like I have a better I have a better understanding of like how things work together, and I'm less scared about deviating. So like I think like I was one when we started this, like I loved cooking. I still do, I love cooking still, but like I love cooking. But I would literally, when I say I love cooking, I was like, I'd go find a recipe and I'd follow it like I had to follow all those things because I didn't understand why these things were actually in there. But now I look at recipes as more of like a guide. And I feel like that's been more of like the biggest shift that's happened is that I'll go look at a recipe, even in like in my buddy Hank, who doesn't know me, but I know him. His book, like there's sometimes where I can't get the things that he's talking about in the recipes, but understanding now, like after reading things like the Flavor Bible and understanding how some of these things go together, it's really easy to like substitute those things. Or if I'm cooking for someone who doesn't like heat, or I'm cooking for someone who doesn't like a certain type of flavor, like I understand how to get around it, and I'm not only okay with deviating from it, I'm like excited about making this my version of the thing. So I think that's been like that's been my number one takeaway from that. And then also just being able to like understand like how to prepare more than just one thing. And so I was infamous, and my ex will tell you, and my friends will tell you that I do really good at like the main course, but really bad about the other things that go around it, because mainly I just didn't know how to like layer that into my into the cooking process. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things where like I've now gotten more comfortable putting a meal together versus just preparing, Andy's pulled pork, which is not pulled pork. But you know what I mean? Like those other things that go along. I think those are my two takeaways. Is being a little more adventurous around around recipes, and then also just being able to fully round out an actual meal versus just one item.
Yeah, that neglecting sides episode was huge. I still think about that a lot. Yeah. And actually, shout out to our newsletter. Mm-hmm. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, go do that real quick. I just posted the recipe to the broccoli, the best broccoli you will ever make. And I'll stand by that. It is the best broccoli. I'll never eat broccoli another way, unless it's raw in a salad. Yeah. So
if someone else forces you to eat it, you're not doing it.
I suppose if a friend makes me broccoli, I'll eat it out of kindness.
How about you? What are your kind of big changes to how you're cooking?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say confidence, mostly just being more sure in what I'm doing. And, similar to you, like before, like the recipe was the written word of God and I needed to follow that to the letter. But now it's, like I said, just, my taste buds are unique. My kids' taste buds are unique. So now I can look at a recipe and, tweak it so it fits my family a lot better. So that's, and it's less scary to do that and just being confident. But also, I think a lot of my cooking has just shifted from the front of my brain to my subconscious. So when I'm cooking, like I feel like I don't have to think as much. Like I just do things because I know it's time to do them, which is a big deal for me because I don't multitask. I don't plan ahead and I don't multitask very well. I'm a very stereotypical male. I can do one thing at a time.
Right.
But after a year of just thinking about this and talking about it, I just know like, oh, hey, I better go check my smoker. Well, things like the hog episode, you learn the hard way. But you just know it's time to go check on whatever needs checking on.
Yeah.
And just repetition.
Like your level of like confidence, but also your level of like cool in the kitchen is also changed. Because I'm a little
bit more tolerable. Yeah, tolerable when I'm cooking now.
Be kind of a pill. If I'm in the middle of something, I'm like I know that you want to help, but just get out. You can help by getting out of here. Yeah, that's how you can help.
I'm still working on that part. So.
Yeah. Well, kind of a spin on that same question. What are you looking to do differently in the coming year? Knowing what we've known over 50 episodes and learning what we've learned, I guess, what are the things you're looking to improve upon in the coming year now that you've sharpened the axe a little bit? What needs some more help?
Well, there is a secret episode that has been recorded, scheduled to release here in the near future, all about sausage making.
Oh, okay.
I connected with the honest omnivore Chris, and we just dove into sausage making. And dude, we just barely nicked the surface. I mean, we could come back for part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty much every topic we talk about could be its own podcast. So that's part of what makes our job challenging. Is like, how do we make this stuff? Like, how do we talk about it in one episode? You just leave people wanting more, I guess. But sausage 100% like needs like a solid month just dedicated to sausage. And I would love to get way better at that. I feel like I'm average. I'm okay. You know, we've made sausage,
but I think again we're kind of in that sausage realm, and again it's one of the things where like I don't make a lot of it, but as I say in like every episode, I feel like when I'm on here, I can't eat the pork, but I hunt boar down here in Texas, and had a really cool hunt a couple days ago too. It was awesome.
Yes.
But I love making sausage for my friends because it keeps them out of my deer, so I don't have people like asking for pets. But also, it's one of those things where like it's a great way to not only like serve a farmer but also serve food to people.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I think we do a really good job of buying the mix from Cabela's and making our own, maybe some twists on a couple of it, but we're not. There's probably so much more. You know,
there is so much more.
So much more we can do.
A little spoiler to that episode is, like how you make the sausage is super important, but also how you cook the sausage is super important. So those brats you helped me make, I cooked a few up the other day, and they're all right. Like I didn't write home and tell my mom how awesome these brats were. They were good, but I took a pack to Chris's house, and he cooked them up. And I swear to you, it was
not the same thing.
100% a different product.
That's crazy.
It's like the cooking methods were like the changes were minuscule. It's just slower, more gentle heat. Again, referencing Chef Allen, like I think he's our man crush of the year. Yeah. But just slow, gentle heat was game changing with how those brats tasted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no.
Wait for that one. It's gonna be a good one.
So sausage making is kind of on your list. Mine this year, and I just haven't decided how I want to do it, but it's gonna be what I want to focus on moving forward. And I part of me wants to get like a leather bound book for my recipe book.
Dude.
But I want to start writing shit down, and I'm so bad. Yeah. I've made some things for people that are like, I'll get these like responses, and I'm like, you guys are just messing with me. But they're like, no, like legitimately, this is the best thing I've ever had. Like I've got and I've got just a little bit left that I froze, and then we thawed it, and it was delicious. But it's a neck roast that I made, and it's a Hank Shaw starter pack recipe of things. But then I kind of get off on my own tangent and did my own version of it in this last one, and it was really, it was so. I can't have pork, so pulled pork is not something I get. But if you there's a process of slow cooking a deer neck roast that basically by the time it's done out of the slow cooker, it is like, the bones come completely out of it, and it's just basically pulled pork. Or what I would tell someone who didn't want to eat venison, that it's pulled pork. And it is, I did a Carolina barbecue sauce with it, and it was just slamming. And Anja's told people about it, and I'm like, I don't even know how to make it again. Like, I know what I kind of did, but so I got to get better about writing the stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, taking like writing out what his recipe was, and then just adding like, what did I do differently?
Yeah.
So that I can recreate those things. I think are going to be huge. So I think that's one of the things that I want to kind of work on over the next year, is figuring out some way of putting that together and doing it into something that I can kind of keep in one spot,
Yeah. Again, Chef Allen, he's got that OneDrive of all his recipes, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get that link.
How to break into that one.
How can I get that link?
If you're a hacker, please write in.
Yes, tell us how to break into Alan's OneDrive. But now writing stuff down is critical. My mind, again, it's the creative mind. Stuff goes in, stuff goes out so fast. So. Yeah,
but when it comes out so good, it's like, man. And again, not to like man crush harder on Alan, but like I've got some meals where he had this tip in there about another good one if you haven't listened to it. It's also a fun one to watch too. Just the lighting is really cool in that building, because we're kind of the back room of the kitchen there. But
while bread was actively being
bread was actually being
twisted. I don't know what's going on behind this, but
but like that's one that I mean, he talked about like how to like brighten up a meal and like the use of vinegar, and now it's something I play with constantly. Like I'm down here and I have bought a bottle of like vinegar, right? Just red wine vinegar here, because I mean, like I just throw a dash or two in your ground beef and you'll find, or ground whatever your browning there. It's so good.
Yeah.
You know, it adds a lot of layering to that flavor. And again, it's not hard. It's just playing with it, you know?
Well, that word you just mentioned, brightening a meal, I definitely feel like the course of this year has helped me describe what I'm tasting a lot better.
Yeah.
So I'm able to almost just put words to flavors, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I said, just brightening a meal, or like it seems too flat. So like, how do you explain that to somebody who doesn't know what it is?
Well, and then understanding, like, and Alan talked about this too, about like salt and how salt actually opens up flavors for other flavors. It's one of those things where like, you don't want to make something salty just to make it salty, but like if it feels boring, like start with a little bit more salt in there and see if it helps open it up. And then if it's still flat, like, is there a citrus or an acid? There's an acid missing is what's happening. And it's like, it's one of those things where like a year ago, Andy couldn't tell you that, you know? And that's the thing. Like, I've had some encounters with friends either in their kitchens or just talking about stuff where I'm like, actually, I feel like I know a little bit more than I thought I did. On a lot of this stuff, and it's just again, those words are kind of weird to like say. It's just we kind of liken it to like a wine tasting. Like,
it's very much the same.
I always spin it and I go, it tastes very nice. I taste a hint of grape and wine.
Yes.
Tannins. Look at the legs. Like all these. I don't know what I'm talking about. But like the more and more you play with that stuff, and you dabble. It's good. And also, like, there's really good ways to fix meals, too. Like, if you're dabbling, you've made something too bright, you know, you can kind of tame some of that stuff down sometimes by adding a little bit more sugar in there. And, like, again, this is where, like, I've leaned and talked about the flavor Bible ad nauseum on this podcast. But, like, the first couple chapters just tell you how food works, how flavors work. And if, like, every good recipe has a combination of a couple different things. And, and so, like, if you're looking at a recipe, you can almost dissect any recipe down to the different levels of like what the acid's going to be in that recipe and what they're using to create this total palette that you're tasting. And if like one thing tastes off on it, if it tastes too much like one of the things in the list, like offset it by one of the other ones that's there. And it's like, it seems so basic when you hear it, but it's like, you know, but try it. Like everyone's made a meal and you're like, God, it's a little bit off and I don't know what to do about it.
But yeah, knowing how to describe all that, again, just
makes it easy.
Helps you know how to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Flavor Bible is a solid book that I still don't have. I need to order it. I need to order it, yes. So and actually on that note, I need to divulge another lack of, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but like I still haven't bought stainless steel pans.
Well, yeah.
So
future gear. That's kind of
the future gear episode. But that I think next on my purchase list. Like how do I take my cooking to the next level? And I think that's going to be just finally getting rid of the nasty, tattered nonstick skillets that are just pouring chemicals into my family's bodies. And like I cringe every time we use them,
and that's the thing, and it sucks because like look, I mean, I get it. Like if you've got a family, you got to cook things quickly. Like Teflon's was created. It's a cool product in theory, and it's just unfortunately there's some chemical things that are terrible for you.
Yeah,
and also too, it's like
when they break down, when they chip off, it's not as good. Yes.
Yeah. For you specifically, like you've graduated to a level where you're still kind of like, it's like you're riding a bike with training wheels on it at this still. Like when you get into stainless steel, and for people who are like, it can be a big commitment, but if you're at a point where your pans are worn and you're looking at doing one, like this might be the time to try stainless. And you can buy the full set, but I would almost always start with a solid just 10-inch skillet, pan.
Your daily driver.
Your daily driver, like whatever you cook eggs in, go get that in stainless. You're you might ruin in that one, but don't buy the full set first. Start with that guy. But like learn on
you recently upgraded.
Oh yeah, I switched my whole kitchen set over. Now again, bit of a forced issue with transition in lives. But still, it's one of those things where like I was like, I want to buy the full set and really learn how to use this, because I love cooking. And what I've found is that stainless does a couple of things. First, you just have way more control over temperature. Whether we're talking about low, whether we're talking about high, it does get hot faster, and that's where people tend to get themselves in trouble. Is that it will get hot on you quick. But I mean, it is one of the, and I bought the whole set. So like I've done everything, from boiling pasta to, full on cooking in that, and all sorts of things in my different pan sets. But like, man, just like your control over temperature, especially that if you also, like if you have gas too, a gas grill or gas stove, a range, whatever, your control over temperature is just a game changer when you're trying to finish something perfectly. And the other big one that people don't have is a good thermometer. Like if you're cooking meat, like a good thermometer is another really good thing to kind of have around, so that you don't overdo your chicken, so you don't have to hear about your significant other mad about you by drying up chicken again.
It's too dry, or it's too pink.
Dry, or is this safe to eat? That question when you get, it's either too dry or you get can I eat this or not?
Yes. A lot of times when you cut your chicken in, it's like when it's super juicy, you're like, I don't know. Well, is it right? Because you're so used to overdoing it.
Yeah, right. And going back to, man, I'm gonna mess this up. I can't remember which episode. You'll probably be better at remembering this, but we were talking about letting food rest for at least half the time that it cooked. It might have been Alan again.
Oh yeah. Who was that? I think it was probably. It was Alan. Yeah,
it was Alan.
Yeah, it was Alan.
Chock full of that episode if you haven't listened to that one. But like, your food should rest at least half the time that it cooked. So like if you use that as a general rule, if you cook a steak and you let that steak cook, if it's a big steak and you let it cook 5 to 7 minutes on either side because you're a Neanderthal and you don't like raw meat, that's fine. But let it rest for half the time that you cooked it for. So if it cooked for 12 minutes, it should sit there for 6 before you cut into it. And that's true for chicken as well, because oftentimes when it's still juicy and doesn't look safe to eat, a lot of it's still like it'll kind of finish itself up and absorb its meat. Its juices there too. And so it is, that's another big game changer. But yeah, man, the stainless steel thing is something that I'm excited for you guys to make that switch.
Yes.
But these are also the thing, like YouTube is your friend. You can, I promise you, I can spin an egg and pull an egg out of a stainless steel just like you do in your Teflon.
Yes.
But it's just all about understanding how to go through the preparation of before you put the stuff in. Oftentimes you just have to let it.
It's a different process. Yeah. We just can't cook in stainless steel like you cook in Teflon.
Right. But you can, when you're cooking lots of things. So going back to our like growth about like being able to cook multiple things.
Yeah.
That's where stainless just beats a lot of the other stuff out of the water. Like you can change temperatures quickly. So like if you're doing one thing on one, you get that thing out and you're ready to just do something else, you can like change that temperature down to be able to cook that thing perfectly and quickly too. Yeah. Especially if you're going like through your sides and doing vegetables, like you can. That transition is so fast. And there's a reason
it gets hot quick, but it also cools down quick.
Yeah. So you can transition it really well, and the art of deglazing a pan is something you'll learn.
Yes.
Keep some crappy red wine around, but. There's a reason why top restaurants use stainless.
Yeah, it's definitely between that and cast iron, which is apples and oranges. Like they're two very different tools.
Yeah.
Like almost the exact opposite of stainless. Like a cast iron is just going to take a long time to heat up, and it's going to stay hot for a long time.
Right.
So both phenomenal tools. Like there's really, I can't say one's better than the other. It's like,
just depends on what you're
feeling like an apple today or an orange. So it's just, very different tools. So
we both are big fans, and I know Colton is as well, but of a nice cast iron Dutch oven.
Corey.
I get Corey as well. Yeah, I won't do chili another way anymore. Like I mean, I'll put it in a in a crock pot if I'm pressed for I gotta leave or something because I don't want to leave it going. But man, I mean, it's
you're I don't know what happened there. Your cast iron is enameled though, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Okay. Yeah, that one is.
Yeah, my cast iron pan is just straight cast iron.
Well, my pan is cast iron straight from Lodge, but my Dutch oven is got.
Basically, all I'm trying to say is I will not cook chili in my pure stainless steel or my pure cast iron, Dutch oven. Yes, so get it enameled. Yeah, if you're going to do a chili in your Dutch oven, yes.
But a Dutch oven though, I mean that's one of my like favorite things to do breakfast in. Or no, sorry, a Dutch oven, my cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
Because you can get your bacon going in there, and then you can dump that grease out. Then you can like those first sets of pancakes with that.
Oh my gosh.
Bacon grease. I'm not supposed to eat it, but I'm not a quitter. Do it.
Dude, bacon in pancakes.
Oh, game changer.
That's the way to go. 100%. Yeah, we had a breakfast episode. We talked about that. So
yeah,
yes,
no, for sure, man. I mean, I think I think that's cool to hear. I'm excited for you to do the cast iron thing.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm debating between a couple different brands at the moment. So
yeah,
I'm just dragging my feet because it's not it's a buy once cry once kind of purchase, and I'm not trying to cheap out just getting some easy pans on Amazon. Like I want to get legit pans that are gonna last.
Yeah,
assuming I take care of them.
Well, that's the thing. Like, again, like I dropped some money on mine, but I wanted it to be a thing that I would, and that I'm going to keep for a while. But I mean, it's just also cool. I think that's the one that it's a really cool thing, and that like. Even like this sounds so nerdy, but even after even cleaning them, like when you clean them and you get them scrubbed clean and they're perfect again. And
there you go.
And to know that it's like a perfect pan again, that's just awesome.
There's a level of satisfaction there for sure.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, the tools matter.
Yes,
the experience matters.
Yes. Well, dude, before we wrap it up, any hot tips for the listeners? I mean. How do you pick just one out of like all these 49 killer episodes? Yeah. But if one had to come instantly to your mind, what do you think that would be?
I think we both subscribe to this theory, if I'm not mistaken. But the other thing is that going back to stainless thing, like a stainless steel bowl set. Like this is not something you have to spend a ton of money on. Go on Amazon, go get yourself the stainless steel bowl set. They're all the same size. Like there's various sizes of them. They can get bigger ones too. I mean, you've got Chris has got a massive one.
The gargantuan one, yeah.
Huge. But like having bowls on your counter as you prep and put things in the different bowls. I know it feels like you're making dishes, but I promise you, it allows a level of organization for you to be able to flow through the meal, but also. It gives you this level of confidence as you add things in when you're supposed to. Things taste, the end result will always taste better. And again, stainless steel is super easy to clean, and once it's done and cleaned and put away, like it's just you don't have to worry about other things growing on. I think you're a big glass guy, if I'm not mistaken.
I've got a big glass set, which I'm probably going to shift to stainless here soon. Because I've broken a couple.
Yeah. That's the only reason. It's like again, you can. The nice thing about a nice stainless steel bowl is you can drop it, you can throw it across the room. It's probably still gonna be fine.
Well, dude, I bought those after you mentioned having a set in the gear episode, and it's been game changing. Like just because I'm that kind of guy where I get out a cutting board if I'm doing chili, let's say, and like I dice up my onion and I shove it to the side. I dice up my pepper and I shove it. And I dice up this and I shove it and I dice up that and I shove it. And all of a sudden, I've got an inch to chop the next vegetable. And that's why I hurt myself.
Right.
So, but now that I'm dicing my onion and putting it in its own little bowl, like I've got a whole blank cutting board and it's a lot safer. It's a lot cleaner.
And I feel like too, like if you're getting to a point where you're starting to like you're not sure about like the measurement of things too, when they're set up in the individual, or if you like, sometimes I'll do it both ways. Sometimes I'll have things separate in separate bowls. Sometimes I'll throw it into one bowl as I'm getting them prepared. But it allows you to like, if you are keeping things separated, you can like, if you're like, oh shoot, that's too much onion, you just put the bowl down.
There you go.
You don't have to continue to add it. You didn't make this problem.
Yeah.
I also think that's the other thing too, like running back and forth through a trash can is a good way to like accidentally cut yourself with a knife. And the big bowl sets usually have I usually use the biggest one as what I call a trash bowl. I know you do composting and things like that.
My compost,
yeah,
or stock bowl, yeah,
or stock, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, go back to the Ian Grosbeck episode. Yeah, don't throw away those vegetable scraps. Either compost them or turn them back into food by making vegetable stock.
Yeah. So I mean that's probably my I know it sounds so silly, but like I gave I think 3 different people a bowl set this year for Christmas gifts.
Once you start utilizing them, like it's game changing. Like that's a great hot tip. Yeah, 100% do that. If you don't,
at the Airbnb, there's actually I used it when I prepped. I did some meal prep here.
You brought them with you?
No, I didn't bring them.
They had them.
I didn't bring them with me. But I opened it up and I literally
he's got a little to-go travel case for his bowls.
of a bowl. Because I was so pumped about the fact that they had a stainless steel bowl and I used it.
That's awesome.
It's actually got I've got some venison steaks thawing in it right now.
Yes.
But that's probably mine. Is a good bowl set. It's a good one tipper there. But how about you?
Well, I hate to bring up. It's a different. No, I don't. Yeah, my brain. It's a different Alan. I was about to reference Alan Sternberg again for the 100th time this episode, but no, Alan Burgo on actually episode 49 we just released gave a great tip at the end, or I think I gave it from his notes, but he said give yourself grace. Both cooking and eating are a learned skill.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it one way, try it a different way. If you don't like it that way, try it a third way. Just don't give up on flavors. Don't give up on yourself. It's a learned skill. So just keep at it, keep practicing, keep changing, just make it your own.
Yeah.
And eventually like you're going to land somewhere where you're going to like it, but you got to give it that time.
Love that, especially with things that are like maybe you don't like that ingredient, like you're not a big fan of cauliflower. Like,
dude, liver. I'm still trying to find a good use for liver, and Alan Burgo gave us a ton to chew on. It's like I'm really excited to try some liver tips from him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. No, but it's been an awesome year. It's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool to see this grow, to see like kind of watch us grow as far as in the whole sphere of things. And I'm real excited to see kind of how the next year goes and what comes with all of this. But
yeah, we're sticking around. We're gonna keep putting these episodes out, and excited to get some feedback. And predominantly a lot of that feedback has been Instagram. So I'm pumped to, keep hearing from you guys. Like what do you want to hear? Who do you want to hear from? So send us people that you want us to chat with. Tell us to keep sending us recipes that you want us to keep trying. So we're down for all that. So the more feedback, the better. Yeah.
Let us know. Again, like we try to be better about reading comments. Doesn't always happen, but like we try to be
Well, I think I just learned that Spotify has comments now.
So if you commented on Spotify,
I have not checked.
We just didn't know it existed.
Yeah. So hopefully there's some unanswered Spotify comments that we need to address. So I need to figure out how to look at those somehow. I might have to get Eric to give me a tutorial here. So
right on.
100%. Yeah, looking forward to the next year and more big life changes on the way, and we're here to embrace them and just cook through them.
Right on. Well, proud of you. Proud of what we're doing here. Couldn't
do it without you.
Yeah, that's been fun. Hopefully people keep listening and at least humor us.
Dude, if not, we'll still be having fun. We'll still be learning. So
talk to ourselves.
Heck yes, dude. Well, dude, have fun in Texas. Go get some pigs to bring home for me.
We'll do.
We'll catch up soon enough.
Right on, man. Appreciate it.
Good night, Andy.